Hi, my name is Bob Phillips, manager at International Angler, and we want to welcome Jeff Blood here to do his program for steelhead fishing in the Lake Erie tributaries.
Well, thank you, Bob. It's a new year, 2014 steelhead season, and it's turning out to be an interesting season due to the fact that we've had limited rain, and so we've had low water conditions most of the time. We've experienced that in the past, and it changes some fishing around. And I've been fishing this year, primarily from the Cattaraugus in New York State over to the Ashtabula in Ohio and all the streams in between there. And what I'm finding is, some decent numbers of fish. They're not great like they used to be. They've declined a little bit, actually substantially from what I remember. I've also noticed that the average size of the fish is down a little bit, maybe 2 to 3 inches. I don't know what you're finding, if that's what's going on. And we've had some really good days. I do find that I'm fishing harder on some of the streams like the Cattaraugus. We fished it last week, and there was enough activity to keep us interested, but not like what I remember when we used to really just catch a lot of fish. We did catch a lot of really big brown trout. When I say big, I mean big for here. I saw one fish caught from a friend that was between 12 and 13 pounds and about 34 to 36 inches. It was just a really big male. And they came into the lower end of 16 Mile Creek after a high rain. The clarity kicked in, and I watched them come right out of the lake and drop into the first pool right at the mouth. And we all caught a half a dozen, pretty nice fish. I haven't caught any brown trout over in the Ohio tribs this year. We did catch a few over there last year. We did catch a few fish, a few brown trout over in the Cat, where we normally catch a lot of brown trout there. So we didn't catch a whole lot. The other interesting thing is there's been a big push of emerald shiners up into the streams with just massive amounts of fish. And some of the pictures I showed in the seminar tonight would attest to that. And over in the Cattaraugus, the bait was being hoarded by the seagulls. 200 to 300 to 500 seagulls would just corral them in and then bomb them. And that was as high up as, about halfway to the Cabbage Patch Pool, if anyone's fished there, which is, fairly far up into the system. So that's interesting, and an indication to me that there's a lot of feed out in the lake, which causes me to question why the size of the fish seem to be smaller, evidenced by the photographs that I showed in my slideshow tonight, that they appear to be 2 to 4 inches, as I said. And the only time I go away from eggs and the white Zonker emerald shiner imitation is in low conditions, and I'll put on a dark colored nymph, and it seems to work really well in that situation. I think you find the same thing doing that. I'm hopeful, this is mid-November, and I'm hopeful that we're going to still get another big push of fish. If we don't get another big run of fish, then I would personally conclude that our run is a disaster. And I know a lot of people would argue that. There are a lot of fish high up on Elk Creek. They seem to be blowing through the middle water and going all the way right to the top very fast. A lot of people have asked me, why is that? And I kind of believe it's something to do with the recent stocking practices of the Fish Commission, where they're stocking higher upstream in anticipation of keeping the fish from straying, but it's also changing the fishery. Evidenced by the fact that if you go down to the mouth of Elk Creek, the parking lot used to be jammed full with cars, and now if you go down there, there's probably less than a third of what used to park down there. And the fishermen know the fish aren't there, that they're passing through very quickly and moving up the stream. Easy observation to make. Anyone can drive down there and look at it. Again, You know, I've been fishing Ohio. The runs over there early. They started in August, and there were some big fish initially, and then and quite a few of them, and that's kind of petered off. I fished there yesterday with a couple guys, and we didn't have a very good day. And the water conditions were really good. That's very disappointing because in my, let's see, 40, actually no, I'm sorry, 53 years of steelhead fishing, because I started when I was 7. I've never seen a November on Cognac Creek as down as it is right now. Over on Elk Creek, I used to like to fish down low. The reason I did that, when I say down low, from basically Whiteman's Bridge down, I like catching the chrome fish, and it seems to be that, you know, that's where the chrome fish are. Evidenced by the fact, if you go up to Rick Road as an example, and park in that area, you know, there's a lot of fish there. There's a lot of fishermen. There's an awful lot of harvest going on, which is kind of disturbing to a degree because, you know, you can't overfish any fishery and then maintain a quality fishery. The fishing laws in the rule book, they talk about not consuming more than 5 ounces of fish out of Lake Erie a month. Yet our creel limit allows us to catch 3 fish that might be 10 pounds. And so if people are actually consuming that, they're making themselves somewhat toxic potentially. I enjoy catching them so much that I throw them back and leave them for other people to have the pleasure of catching that fish again. It's still a great fishery, world class, and you know, I just hope that we can figure out why our numbers have declined, and you know, if we can get the fishery back up to the levels that we had 7, 8, and 9 and 10 years ago. Thank you for your time, and thanks for having me over here tonight to make the presentation.
Absolutely. And thanks again, Jeff, for a great presentation. And we'll do it again, I'm sure, in the very near future. Thanks.
Thank you.